Mrs. Danielle DeVita back with another video. I overheard someone say that marriage is overrated. A lot of women say, I like the strong silent type. Well, a lot of men like the feminine silent type. And for sure, it's going down. So a lot of times people are not getting the value. When to speak and when to be quiet is one of the most powerful. She's going to be aggressive, thinking that. And as someone who's been married for 12 years, she's driven, not lazy. And this will make yourself and get on the right path. That understand that you might be doing a disservice to your daughter if you don't help her understand vetting and proper decision making. Now she's going to be a basket case later. If you don't help her understand emotional intelligence, she's going to hold on to a lot of emotional baggage. If you don't. We live in a world where femininity, marriages, family, and courting is no longer valued. We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should. My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today. We live in a world where femininity, marriages, family, and courting is no longer valued. We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should. My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today. All right, welcome. We are live. So welcome to Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am a relationship and femininity coach, and my goal is to make sure that you get the person that you deserve and learn how to vet. So I will be looking at two different cameras. As you can see, my eyes may be slightly moving over here. So that'll be you, Instagram, and then you for Facebook and YouTube. So thank you for taking the time to join me today. I have two topics I will be speaking about today. I did put my StreamYard link. If you want to join in, you can do so on camera. Make sure your camera ready. So you can use that link. If you're on Instagram, you'll be able to use the request to join to be on video there. I do have a telephone number that you can call if you feel more comfortable calling. That number is 813-816-1813. Again, 813-816-1813. So today we are going to be talking about no ambition, a person, if you're dating someone who has no ambition, and then we're going to talk about lost investment, and this is all in regards to relationships. So first, just let me tell you a little bit about who I am. My name is Danielle DeVita. I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I see a lot of people who are repeating the same toxic relationships that they've seen that their parents or people who they know or grew up in, they repeat that same thing. And sometimes it's because that's all they know. And in doing so, they create what we call generational curses. And my goal is to help you create generational blessings, because when you bring children into the world, when you get with someone, especially if someone that you're not in a healthy relationship, you tend to create children that's going to grow up in more toxic relationships. That's going to be what they see, and they're going to repeat this. And then you have a entire legacy full of unhealthy relationships and soul ties and entanglements. And we're not learning and growing because we say, this is who we are. This is all we know. So we don't grow. My goal is to make sure that both men and women become the best versions of themselves. And by doing so, you're going to get with other people, form relationships with other people who are the best version of themselves, because this is what you expect. This is your standard. A lot of people, they have their standards in the wrong place, but I want to help you have foundational standards, things that mean something, things are fundamental, right? So With that being said, let's talk about no ambition. A lot of times we think of men who have no ambition and they're just playing video games, they're not doing anything with their lives. And not to say playing video games is bad, but this is all they do. All they do is act like a teenager and not, you know, do adult like things. So adulting gets hard for some of these men, and it hurts relationships, especially for women who want to view men as leaders and providers, and this man is not showing that. So we are going to talk about no ambition in general, men and women, because a lot of women don't have ambition either. And just to help you understand what ambition is where this person understands the potential that they have to thrive in society. And not only do they understand and recognize this potential, so it's not other people just simply recognizing the potential, but they themselves recognize their own potential and they do something with it by going out. They have that drive, that initiative to take this potential and make it realize it, right? Make realization. So it actually comes into play through their hustle and their drive. They're actually doing something, and they're making, a lot of times we use the word hustle. So they're actually going out there getting that money somehow, some way. And this is what ambition is. Ambition will not only allow you to have the potential, but you're doing something with that potential and you're putting it to work. So there's application done here. And sometimes people could be talented, they could be great, they could be intelligent, but if they're not doing anything with it, it's just potential that they could possibly have. So you won't know all the potential they have because they're not putting any effort, any application to it. You just know because of their intelligence, more could be done with their lives or in a particular situation. And they're not doing the best they can. There's no effort there. There've been no effort applied to see how far they could go because they're not realizing it. So a person who has no ambition, they're not even putting any effort, any application, any work, any hustle, any go-getter type attitude about themselves. Someone could still have a job and still have no ambition. They're just content with the bare minimum, mediocrity. And I talk often about vetting, especially for women, because I do think men need to learn how to vet, but there's some women who do not know how to vet. And when I say the term men, I don't just mean the male species. When I talk about you should submit to men, you should want, male leadership, blah, blah, blah. I'm speaking about a man who knows how to lead. And of course, you probably heard this many times. I've coined the term lead as in my acronym for L. Everything he says and does is within love. E, he elevates those around him, not treat them like gum at the bottom of his shoe. He aspires for greatness. This can make him high earning. He doesn't accept mediocrity. He's not okay with just doing the bare minimum. D, he's dedicated to the things and people who he says he loves. S, he serves his community through his gifts, talents, expertise, and so forth. And all of that boils down is he's living out his purpose. And to do that, then you also need ambition. And going back to A, if he's aspiring for greatness, that means he has ambition, right? So a lot of times people have no drive. And my goal is to make sure that people that you get with do have drive. And sometimes people say, oh, I was with this guy or I was with this woman, and I realized they don't do nothing. They don't do anything. They just either sit there and look pretty if they're a woman. They don't want to do anything except have this lavish lifestyle, this luxe lifestyle. Or if it's a man, oh, he doesn't want to do anything. I'm doing all the work. He's mooching off of me. He's leeching off of me. All these terms that we hear. Well, there's a way you can vet for that. And it starts with asking questions. And it's not enough just to ask questions the first time, but you need to follow up. So if you like what you hear so far, please subscribe. I appreciate that. You can also go to my website, mrsdanielledevita.com, to know more about my content, or you can go to my YouTube, Instagram, things like that. I also have a podcast that you're able to listen to as well. And I'll put all of that stuff in the link. But my podcast is Feminine Energy with Danielle DeVita on all major podcast systems. So if you are listening to me, then you'll understand what I mean when I talk about these particular questions that you can ask. So let me go over the types of questions that you would ask. Let me Sorry. All right. So the questions that you would ask is, and this is probably the first few dates, right? So what do you do for a living? Okay. So, all right. Is this your passion? So you're first finding out if the job that they have, after you ask what they do, you could say, what do you do if you're having conversation? They've already probably asked you what you do. They've asked you what it is that you like and how, you know, um, what are your passions? Maybe they've asked you that already. Or if they haven't, once you get to know them, what brings you here in this city? Why are you here? Are you from here? Or did you move here because of work or school or family? And when they get to talking, okay, is this what you like to do? Is this just your hobby? Your hobby, is this also a passion of yours? Okay. Do you also do this for a living? Oh no. Then you understand where they are in work. Okay. Are you looking to do this or do that? Oh, you're going to start a business. When you hear people talk about their business or their job or their hobbies or things that they do on the side, find out, why is it that they're doing what they're doing? When you hear people talk about their passion, you can see the light in their eyes, their excitement. You can kind of see that there's some potential there. They like the things they do. And then when they start saying, well, I'm going to do this in the next year, I'm going to have my business in the next year, then it sounds like they have ambition, but you won't know until you start seeing them working towards those things. So you have to understand, like, okay, so if you say you're going to have this business and you're going to do this particular thing, then the question is, okay, so are you going to, you know, as time goes by, you're going to find out, okay, so are you still working towards this? A lot of times people ask things on the first date, but they do not ask these things again later on. If someone said they're going to start a business within a year and you're dating them in 6 months and you've seen that they apply no effort to the business, they talk about it again, you don't see them hustling, working late shifts, doing this, talking about this dream, this thing they have, whether it's man or woman, then these are things you should look for. A lot of times people overlook these clues and these red flags, and these are red flags, because not to say that everything someone says they're going to do has to happen or it's a red flag. It's a red flag when you hear people do a lot of talking and put no action behind it. That's the red flag. You want people that are going to do the things that they say they're going to do. You want to see that people are working towards the things that they say they want, things that they say they care about. You want to see not only are they speaking with passion, but is there any type of work ethic behind it? How they talk about work. Do they look like they have good work ethic? Do they, because these things are going to translate into relationships, how people are at work, how people are when they're around family, how they are with other people at home. You have to ask yourself the question, how are they going to be with me? How are they? These are characteristics. These are traits that people have. All right. So when we talk about the no ambition thing, again, we like to kind of make it gender specific. But there are some women who are lazy. There are women who do not have effort as well. There are men who do not have effort and they just want the bare minimum. So they may still be working, they may still have a job, but some people don't have a go-getter attitude. All right. So let's talk a little bit. So before we move on, if anyone wants to chime in, you are able to do so in the comment section. You can also chime in. But before we move on, I want to say one more thing about ambition, and then I'll move to loss investment. So ambition, you have to understand that it doesn't matter your economic status, how you grew up, what you saw other people. You're going to know if someone has ambition because they're going to not just talk about these things that they care about without you asking. They're going to start they're going to have building blocks. So they're not going to be begging you for money or asking. So these are the people who are not just asking for handouts. You are seeing them apply their own, work. They got their skin in the game. So if something, let's say something does fall through, something doesn't work out, you can see that they will be affected by it, right? Because they put skin in the game. So these are people who are going to, you see, are risk takers because they believe in what it is they say they're going to do. That's important because a lot of times people say, well, I am working hard for my dream, but it's really them asking for help. They're asking for someone else to fund what it is they want. And they may use you to do that. And you have to understand that when it's something you want, they need to put their own money, their own time. So when you use other people's money, other people's time, it doesn't have the same value. It doesn't have the same effect. So that's also part of ambition. So a lot of times people will say, well, this is my passion and I'm asking you for help and you're not helping me. No, these are people that's going to find a way to make it work, not going to depend on other people's money, other people's status, other people's network to get them somewhere. They're going to use all of that energy to do it themselves. So please understand that, because some people do take advantage of people financially or their network just to get what they want. And you have to understand that's not how it works. When a person has ambition, they're going to put their own skin in the game. All right. So lost investment. This is a form of not wanting to let go because you don't want to lose out on your investment. Let's think about actual money here, right? If you have your money in some stocks and you realize that the stock is going down, before it was going up, everything was going great. And now you realize that there's a dip in the stock. At what point will you take your money out of these stocks? Will you take it when it gets all the way down? Or will you take it when you see it's on a decline and you're going to say, okay, this stock needs to go up. You're going to reach out to your guy or whoever handles this lady, whoever handles your money profile. And when they say things are going to get better, things are looking up, you're going to say, okay, I'll take a look. I'll wait a day or two or a week or two, depending on how all the risks that you have in this particular stock. If they say, no, this stock it's not going to be getting better anytime soon, naturally, most people pull their money out. So if they do lose, they don't lose much, or they only lose some of the profit they got in it, or they either break even, or they pull out immediately if they're actually losing. They're going into the hole. This is how it is in relationships. The only problem is a lot of people, they wait past that point when it's all the way to the lowest to decide, I'm going to pull out, or should I pull out because I spent so much time, I don't want to lose out. But you have to think about it. Just like I gave the example with the stock. If you are in a relationship that was on an incline, this person was great. They were awesome. Everything they were doing was what you wanted. And something happened in a relationship, something happened in their life, whatever the situation is, whatever snag hit, whatever hiccups, red flags, is now going into a decline. If you do what I was saying in previous live streams about a crossroad is when something is happening in the relationship that is a deal breaker or soon to be a deal breaker. It's something that's unfavorable in the relationship. And you say, you have to confront the person and say, I do not like this situation. For our relationship to progress, for it to move forward, this and this and this, I'd like for these things to happen. Or the relationship has to come to an end, right? This is what we call a crossroad. If at any point this is not happening in the relationship, so whatever you want to happen or want to stop happening, if there's no change, what good is it to just watch the relationship continue to decline? Just like that person addressed the issue that's going on with their stocks, with their portfolio manager, you're doing that in a relationship. But if it doesn't get better, why are you letting it go more and more and more on a decline? No, this is a point where you would say, you know what, we're on a decline. I need to get out. But a lot of people say, well, I've invested this much time. Why stop now? Well, Because if you go more on a decline, now you would have invested so much that you've missed out on some other stocks you could have gotten. You missed out on other relationships you could have had, other friendships you could have had, other like getting to know you, healthy forms of bettering yourself. You've missed out on an opportunity because you're so busy worried about this particular relationship that's not getting any better. It's not, because there's no effort applied on the other person's part. There has to be effort applied. It's just like with flowers, with plants. If you can want something, you can want the plant to thrive, but if there's no water, no sun, it's not going to thrive. You have to put water. There needs to be sun. You need to remove the bad leaves, and so it can grow, so it can thrive. But if none of these things occur, nothing's going to happen. It's going to remain in a horrible state. And you have to realize that that's the same thing with an investment. It's no longer an investment if it's going to waste. If the relationship has gone to waste, no change is being made, no progress is being made, no willingness, no effort being applied, you're losing your investment. And you're so far in the hole now that you're way in the negative. And you can pull out. It's best to pull out before you go, way into the negative, before it gets so bad that it's so hard for you to pull out. Now the soul tie is so strong, because soul ties are real. They are entanglements, you hear people say. So what you want is to make sure that when the relationship is at first, so this is the incline, it's going into the decline. This is when you address it. You give leadway, but when you see it's now going in a downward spiral, then that's when you need to leave out the relationship. After that, it's just considered waste. This relationship is no longer an investment at all. You've lost out on your investment. You didn't even break even. You are in the hole. And a lot of times we say, well, I don't want to lose more of my investment. So if you put 3 years in a relationship, and then you say, well, I don't want to lose out my investment, so I'm going to stay. So now you're 6 years. So you put another 3 years. And so now you're 6 years in a relationship where you would have lost 3 years, but you could have moved on. 3 years later, you would be in a better place. But now you're 6 years in the same or in a worse position. But a lot of times we're not realizing that. We're not seeing that. We're saying, well, I just put this much time in, it's going to work. And I know we hear the term time heals all wounds. Not necessarily. If I have a bullet wound here and I decide, I'm not going to heal it, but now the skin may, get better. It's not as swollen. It's not as horrible. But at the end of the day, that internal could be an infection. That internal hole, it could cause an infection if it doesn't properly heal the way it needs to heal. So you have to realize that just because time has occurred doesn't mean you're healed. It just means it doesn't hurt. It's not as sensitive as it was before. So when there is a lost investment, you need to take that loss, learn from it, grow. So the next time you take a risk and you put money into a new stock, you're able to assess, where did I go wrong? Did I miss a crossroad? Did I miss a red flag? Did I not ask questions? Oh, I did ask questions. Did I not follow up? Did I not observe with my eyes what this person was doing? Were they consistent in both their words and their actions? Did I address deal breakers? Did anything change after these potential deal breakers? Did things progress or get worse? Am I getting, at what point did my investment become a total loss? When you ask yourself these questions, you will grow as a person, because you would have learned from these things and moved on. But sometimes people don't even see there's any fault on their own. They say, well, this person did X, Y, and Z, and this is what happens. This is what happens to relationships when people put all of the blame on one other person and never themselves, they won't grow. They won't see why they're having the same issue over and over, because there's some accountability that needs to be done on their part. So I'm not going to hold you accountable, but if you hold yourself accountable, you'll be able to see, this is where I could have made some changes and you could have grown. Because it's not always one person that can make a relationship a success or failure. It takes two to tango. So one person may be worse off. They may be doing things that are detrimental to the relationship. But what action or inaction you did in that relationship also affected the relationship. All right. So place your comments if you have any comments in regards to either the a person who has no ambition, how to vet, what questions to ask, how to do follow-up questions as the months go by in a relationship. If you have questions about lost investment, how to let go, how to move on. I always do this video with Kyle and Max from Living Single on how to do Crossroads. That is the fundamental video that I always talk about with Crossroads. There's another video I have with the lady who does this. Let me play this video, because this might be a video on lost investment, because even though this talks about a crossroad where you ask yourself, or she asks this guy the question, what we don't realize is, if you watch that movie, I think it's called Bachelorette's Degree or something like that. This movie, she was with a guy for like 10 years. So that's an investment. She put in 10 years hoping that their relationship would go somewhere. There would be success in their relationship. However, that wasn't so. She was still young. She ended up going with a good guy, but she had to take the loss. If she decided to stay in that relationship, 10 more years could have gone by, or she probably could have married that person, and then she'd be miserable. And you see people in relationships where they're married, they've been miserable the whole time, and then that relationship has come to an end, and they're starting all over in their 40s or 50s. But if you take the time to learn sooner than later, then you can say, okay, I did lose out on this investment. And maybe I am 30 now. Maybe I am 40 now. But you know what? It's better to say, take the loss, or take the hit and move on to a better relationship where I'm happy. So rather than me being in a relationship for 20 years, I've been in a relationship for 10 years. In the next 10 years, I'd be in another relationship happy. You can't move to a new relationship if you can't get over the old relationship. So what I'm going to do is play this video just so you can know what questions to ask if you feel that you are in what you would call a lost investment. If you're in a relationship, you think you put so much time and energy in it, but you know it's not going anywhere. You know this relationship is not the best that it could be, and this person isn't working towards making it better either, even though you're trying. So let me play this video. These are some of the questions that I think you should ask when you are at this particular crossroad of where's the relationship going. Here we go. If you're on Instagram, you can hear, but you cannot see the video.
In 11 years since college, Damien. Where are we going?
What's wrong with the way things are?
I need more.
Danny, please calm down.
No. You don't get it. Where are we going? And are we going anywhere?
Yeah, I guess we're going somewhere. All right, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future. But all I know is how I feel about you. And the way that...
Stop. Since you don't know where we're going, I don't want to do this anymore. Leave.
Yeah, come on, that's not... I know you don't mean that.
Leave, Damien.
Danny.
Please, just leave.
And so this is what we should be asking when we are in relationships. If someone is saying, or they're showing through their actions that we're just living in the moment and they don't want to provide a title, you don't know where the relationship is going, you're still unclear of where you guys are, maybe time is happening, maybe they're dangling marriage, but there's nothing happening in the future. Ask, where are we going? What is this relationship doing? And if you don't know where we're going, what we're doing, don't make ultimatums. I know people will say this, but the person that needs to be making the change or doing whatever is you. So you let the person know what you're doing, not tell them what they need to do. Because you want people to do things because they want to, not because you force them to. Because if not, you're going to be this woman that's saying, oh, you just saying that because I asked you to. Don't ask them. So if I was in that situation, like she said, well, since you don't know where we're going, then I'm gone. The relationship is over. And in this case, that's what she did. It was her home. So she told him to leave. She broke up with him. But this is what you have to do. You tell them, I'm leaving, I'm going, this is a change that I'm making. And then you can see what they do. I would, if you told them at the moment, I would not immediately turn around and go, okay, no, this can be something that they need to ponder about. You still leave, and because you want them to know that you are serious, not that you're someone that could be easily swayed. Okay, this relationship is coming to an end. I'm gone. I love doing the video with Kyle, which I do that often, but some other people are in relationships where the person is not into them the way they want them to be. And I'm going to show you another video with Living Single. Regine does the same thing. I'll play that video. Which, no, because I played that enough. But in that video, he didn't want anything serious. She did. She wanted a relationship. He wanted a, I guess, friends with benefits type relationship. I mean, he was in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with her, but I guess it was nothing more than superficial. Nothing like a serious title. So she said, well, I'm gone. He's like, can we be friends? No, we can't be friends. So you have to understand that this is what you need to do with people. You need to let them know what you really want. So this is all I have for you. I definitely don't want to keep you on too long, but today I'm just going to wrap up what we talked about. Today we talked about no ambition, being with people who do not have ambition. You don't want to be with people like that. And to do a vetting process, you ask questions, ask about their hobbies, their passion, their wants, their likes, their dislikes, what they do for a living, and if that is part of like where they're going in that field. And then if after they say all those things, watch them as y'all relationship grow. Hey, this business you said, this hobby you said you like, see if they're still doing these things, if they're growing in these things, getting better. And this is how you see, is this their drive? This is their ambition. Do they care about these things? You can see this with even without them telling you what they like and what they don't like. You can see when people have passions and ambition, right? So look at these things, follow up in a relationship. Same thing with loss investment. Look and see if what you're putting in the relationship, there's a return on your investment. Is there progress? Is there growth? If it's not and it's on a decline, then you need to do a crossroad. If it doesn't get better, you need to pull out of the relationship. Don't be like the person in the video that waited 10 years though. These are things you can easily see within a few weeks, a few months, depending on how often you're seeing each other. Few months, 6 months, a year at the most. After this, you really shouldn't be putting in over a year. The main reason why people are in relationships that are not successful a lot of times is for women, one, femininity, which we talk about that often. I have earlier videos talking about femininity as well. And number two, they're in relationships longer than they need to be in. The last several videos that I've done, I harp on being in relationships that are not conducive for a healthy and cohesive and happy relationship. Whether it's lack of respect, not valuing yourself and others. So a lot of trust, all of these things can hurt the relationship. So when you take the time to look at if you invest in yourself first, you'll be able to see if other people are investing in you. A lot of times when we don't invest in ourselves and people put just a little bit in us, we think they're doing a lot. But invest in yourself. Have confidence in who you are and the value that you have. And then you'll be able to see if other people are properly valuing you the way that you want to be valued, the way you value yourself. And then when you're not seeing these this progress, this return on your investment, then you need to address it. And when you're not getting that return, most likely, these are probably things that are deal breakers. These are things that you do not like. So address it, even if it's small, before it gets big, because things can be small, but 10 years in, do you still want to be dealing with these same things? No. So again, we don't want to be with people who have no ambition. We don't want to have a lost investment in relationships. Time, energy, love, children, all these are investments. Same thing with men. A lot of men don't believe in marriage, don't want to get married because they think it's not a positive return on investment. Why? Because if it doesn't work out and there's divorce on his end, money is an issue. Not being able to see his children if the woman, which most women use their children as pawns, especially when there's a breakup. And a lot of men don't want to deal with that. So the same thing for you. You want to make sure the person that you're with, that there's no, that you're getting a return on your investment. This person is pouring into you, pouring in love and respect. Even when they're upset, how are their actions and reactions in situations? Sometimes this is how you see how they will be. You don't want the relationship to go all the way down the toilet before you realize this girl is crazy. This guy is crazy. All right. Well, you can post your comments on the replay, like, subscribe. And again, thank you for tuning in to Mrs. Tania Davida. Thank you. Take care now. Mrs. Tania Davida back with another video. I overheard someone say that marriage is overrated. A lot of women say, I like the strong silent type. Well, a lot of men like the feminine silent type. And for sure, it's going down. So a lot of times people are not getting the value. When to speak and when to be quiet is one of the most powerful. She's going to be aggressive, thinking that. And as someone who's been married for 12 years, she's driven, not lazy. And this will make yourself and get on the right path. That understand that you might be doing a disservice to your daughter if you don't help her understand vetting and proper decision making. Now she's going to be a basket case later. If you don't help her understand emotional intelligence, she's going to hold on to a lot of emotional baggage. If you don't. We live in a world where femininity, marriages, family, and courting is no longer valued. We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should. My name is Tania Davida, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit MrsTaniaDavida.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today.